Howdy y'all. Welcome back to my channel. This is AR Catholic. And we left off, for me, just a short time ago, with our heroes making it up, uh, getting two measurements, or thinking they got two measurements, but at least they got one. And they're going to get uh, they got everything, put it back, and now they have 5 days of crushing boredom. I think. Let's see. I decided not to roll because I had so much time to disassemble the booms, but one of them is broken. So we're going to see if someone can fix it. That's where we're start off. Since they have this time, and since it's the sensor assembly itself, I think it's going to be more than just like a loose connector or whatever. It got bonked. So, but I think it's something they can take in to the little capsule into the lifeboat with them. So, who's going to have the best electronics? Let's see. Now I know they do have tools. Obviously, they had the tools to open that hatch, so they have some kind of electronic tool. Let's see. Stefan. Oh yeah, sorry, looking for electronics. All right. He has electronics 1, but he also has sensors 2. So that I think that might be applicable to trying to get this sensor module up fixed. Yeah, so we'll give it to him, and I'll give him a bonus since he has such a good understanding. And if it's possible that he messes the whole thing up, in which case they just won't be able to get all the data. Okay, very good. So easy enough. He's able, with between his electronics and his sensors, and being able to take time and having a toolkit, he does manage to get the other sensor fixed. So now, like I said, they have 5 days, and they are hostile, intense days. Does anything blow up? They're professionals, but half of them don't want to be here. So I'm gonna say it's not likely that that anything happens. Okay, so no, nothing happens. Um, Everyone manages to, mostly out of just pure boredom, get over and forget about what happened during that evolution. All right, so 5 crushingly boring days drag by within the cramped confines of the lifeboat. And the referee should go into great detail about just how bored they are. So boring detail, great boring detail. But it is also uncomfortable. There's no bathing facilities, and I mean there are obviously facilities for relieving themselves, in the lifeboat, but that's about it. I imagine that most of them have porta-comps, and so they can. I think they all have porta-comps, so they can read, play their video games, maybe even hook up to the in hook up to the net and get email or whatever. Okay, let's see. Yeah. So eventually, about half a day, or about 5 days later, about half a G of deceleration is felt for a minute, then 0 G returns as the capsule comes to a stop. Um, this is followed by several moments of the feeling of shifting sideways and down, and some loud clanks, crank, 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 as the capsule is moved into a torus-shaped hangar, which of course they can't see, but they know what it looks like, which rotates about the beanstalk, thereby simulating gravity about half a G. Eventually, the capsule comes to a complete stop, and the characters wait expectantly for uh, Gurgo, I guess. Gurgis, Gurgwa? I'll just say Gorgi. How about that? Gorgi to come get them. They wait for hours, and finally, when they can't seem to stand it any longer, they hear the cargo hatch open, and somebody climbs to the lifeboat hatch and calls for them to come out. It is Gurgi, as described, and as the pictures that they were given. He rocks foot to foot and impatiently as the characters get into their second set of vac suits because now they have to go right back down. The second set of vac suits were in the lifeboat, and it's time to get into them. All right. And they collect the sampling equipment and the booms. He's constantly nagging them insistently in his nasal voice until they are prepared to leave. Let's see. We'll let Gordon. Is he able to keep things chill? Yes. Okay. So he's able to. He uses his military experience to just let the guys whining roll off his back, and he keeps everyone focused on completing their task. And then when they finally get everything together, they make sure, and he leads them hastily across to an immense hangar towards another capsule. And this capsule is, of course, similar to the one that they were just in, with the exception that it's being returned empty. And likewise, the trip repeats the sequence of events, only in reverse order. They spend 5 more days of total boredom, this time in vac suits rather than a lifeboat, broken only by the periodic onset of itches which cannot be scratched. I would assume that, I don't know, it's 5 days. I'm just kind of curious. I'm going to pull up my equipment list here, and I'm going to assume that whatever might be needed, external piss pots or whatever, piss bags and poop pots. But let's take a look at our equipment. Our equipment guide. Where are we at? Okay, there's vehicles, weapons. I just want to see if it lists some kind of oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go get one of my other fancy books just so I can say I used it. Always use a chance to get out one of my old high school friends. All right, so there's a section in here about the suits, survival suits. Sorry, I probably should look out without. Exploratory equipment, 18. I'm assuming that's what it's at. As I read it, a typical pea suit is good for 8 hours, but bottled oxygen can extend this up to 20 hours. So I'm going to have to assume that this pea suit has some kind of port or waste recycling port exit connection that can hook up to whatever else was put in there, because so they're going to need batteries, like one per day, so they're going to need extra batteries. They're going to need bottled oxygen, so they can't only have their pea suits if that's a 5-day thing. They're supposed to be in vacuum the whole time. Yeah, there's no lifeboat. and so broken by the periodic onset of itches. So the idea is obviously they are that they are staying in their pea suits on the way down, and so that is going to lead to some definitely some extra stress. It doesn't say anything about providing those things, but they'd have to provide something. Um, Maybe even like I think they have like a vacuum tent in here or something. But we'll just say that there's a portable waste retrieval unit, and they have a package with enough oxygen bottles and batteries to get them to the surface, even if they're itchy. Oh, you know what? I made this. I don't know how cool it is, but I I made this other little screen for all of our. Well, I didn't make it. I found the picture and put them on there as they go up and down the thing. So on the way down, now I think especially because the lifeboat on the way up, because they didn't even really have a break. I think there's going to be some. I think I'm going to need some rolls out of these folks here to see how well they hold up, because that's a long time to be like trapped with nothing to do. Because even if you're on a if you're on a spaceship for months at a time or whatever, you have things to do. You have people to interact with, um, duties, things to keep you from going stir crazy. So I'm going to have everybody make a determination check to see how well they do. It'll just be I think it'll still just be a routine, so 6 or better. So go with Gordon. Okay, so Gordon is almost made it, but he is going to he's had enough. Let's see, Zhao Mei. 3 plus 3, so she gets 6. She barely makes it. These people are barely hanging on by the time it's time to get back to work. Well, Horace is he already doesn't like it there. All right, so Horace and Gordon are so far not very happy. Let's see about Stefan. Okay, so the same two. The Americans have had it. They are not holding up great. Let's see if that causes any mishaps. I'm not gonna say it's hazardous or anything at this point. So let me just say, is there a mishap? Okay, 7. No, Gordon can check determination. 9. Oh, close. Okay, so they can both do another check at determination to see if they do any better. All right, Gordon. Okay, so they both end up hanging on, but now there's going to be stress between those two, because they just keep going on about why the hell are we even here? We should have just stayed up there. We should leave this whole damn thing behind us. So they get into another fight with those two. So there's a little bit of conflict between the between Gordon, Horace, and Stefan and Xiaomei. But by the time they get there, everyone is ready to go. They're no one is refusing to do their work or whatever. Um, Now there's just going to be one routine mechanical roll just to do everything, because they're going to give themselves plenty of time to set up all the booms, all the sensors. They will have Xiaomei will have downloaded the information from the first, And so they're going to try to get all of those things, uh, all of the booms set up for their set for their trip down. They're having a little trouble talking there. So to open the hatch and assemble the equipment, and of course they will have uh, practiced using the hatch since Stefan got the first one open. He's familiar with how to do that. So this time around, it's just broken down into one task to open the hatch and assemble the equipment. Routine, mechanical. All right, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, assuming that he gets to add his uh, role in there, or his pea suit in there again, and so. And since they have had so much time, I'm not even going to bother. I'm going to say they give themselves plenty of time to set everything up. Now the trick is going to be getting the stuff put away and disconnected before they get down, because once they get to a certain height, then it's going to be obvious that someone has opened it and that there's booms hanging down, and that's going to lead to a bunch of questions. Okay. All right, 2 people for every person, blah, blah, blah. Okay. When the suit alarms announce that the capsule has entered the mesosphere, the characters turn on the sampling equipment and wait for 5 minutes. After the 5 minutes have elapsed, they have 15 minutes to disassemble everything and close the hatch. So they've had plenty of time, especially with Xiao Mei's experience using the sensors and everything. She gets all the readings. Everything looks great at this time, but now they've got 15 minutes to do this, to go the other way. All right, so to disassemble the boom is a task. 2 people are required to detach a boom from the hatch and disassemble it. And if 3 work on a single boom, the strength of the strongest character involved may be used as a modifier. Okay, so I think what we're probably going to do, it's difficult, mechanical. I think what we're going to do is we're going to go and we're going to have 2 teams. We'll have the same 2 teams, Stefan and Zhao and Horace and Gordon. We're going to have them each try to disassemble a boom. Okay, if 3 work, maybe use as modifier. The time required is halved. So I think we'll do that, and then everyone can work on the last one, and that will have that time. So, all right. So Stefan and Zhao. All right. So that time is 1 minute. It's going to be okay. So -3 to the roll for time. Since that's going to be their time skill. -3. Ah, caramba. Takes them forever. All right. 13 minutes for them to get the first boom, and that's even if they make it. All right, so Horace and Gordon. Now they have 6, so they get +6, and that's -6 to their roll. All right, so it's a minimum of 3, and so that is 1 minute. So that's going to be 3 minutes for them to do theirs. All right, so Stefan and Zhao. Okay, so they do get theirs. It just takes a long time. And, I think if Horace and Gordon, yeah, we'll let Horace and Gordon, we'll go. Okay, so they get theirs. So after 3 minutes, let's see, does one hop over and help them? Nah, I think they'll work on the next boom by themselves. All right, so that's 13 minutes. Man, they're running out of time here. Disassemble a boom. All right. And they will work on the second one. Same thing. It's going to be -6. So that's going to be 4 minutes. Okay, so they take 7 minutes to disassemble and remove 2 of the booms. And while they've got their second one going, the Stefan and Zhao are having trouble with theirs. They get it done, and so of course Gordon, because of the tension already, Gordon is starting to kind of get out to kind of yell at them to hurry up, no, don't you guys, can't you do anything? That kind of stuff. Um, all right, well they're still working on that, so um, while they're doing that, we'll say that Gordon, I don't know, maybe he goes over there to help them, but they're going to send Horace down to re-engage the safety and get it ready right when they're doing that. Okay, so it's re-engage. Okay. All right. One major difference between the downward sampling and upward sampling. After 7 booms. Okay. So Horace, that. Sorry, I should probably pause when I'm reading. So 30 seconds, and Horace is going to be. He's got mechanical of 2. Oh, you know what? I think I gave them too many points. There's. Oh well, mechanical 2, pea suit 2, so -4. Good grief! All right. So it's going to take him at 8 minutes. That will be just right at the bottom. That will be right at the bottom. Yep, 7 minutes to do that, and then it takes him 8 minutes to get that hatchery engaged. Oh, wait a second. No, it's for 30 seconds. Yeah, so that should actually be 4 minutes. All right, so does he make it? Yep. Okay, so that's difficult with his between his pea suit and everything that gets to add up. And they manage to they find they get the booms, and just as Stefan and Zhao, and with Gordon helping at the last minute, they get the last boom retracted, and Horace re-engages the safety. Let's see. Yeah, re-engages the safety. Now they're starting to feel, they can now feel some buffeting from the atmosphere, because now they're going down the atmosphere. Um, Now supposedly going down like 300 kilometers an hour. Yeah, I guess that's not too super fast, but so they get it closed, and then they start disassembling everything the rest of the way so that they can pack it. Um, and during the last minute of descent, the capsule once again decelerates rapidly. The characters, they all feel themselves pushed down by 1.5 G's of force as it decelerates. But they make that no problem. Let's see. Yeah, they had shut the door. All right, so after the capsule has reached the ground and they look around, exhausted, uh, their eyes black underneath their eyes, bags underneath their eyes, angry, but finally ready, itchy. They know that some of them got rashes for sure. But the capsule has reached the ground, and they hang on as best they can, and they secure their little poop pots and battery oxygen tanks and everything so that they don't get knocked about. Um, and actually, they would have had to been probably secured already. Um, Otherwise, they probably would have fallen out the bottom. Yeah. All right. Um, the same person who originally saw them off will come get them. Um, and so they get they hear two knocks echo through, or maybe they just feel them through their pea suits or whatever, and then the door opens, um, and the ladder is run up. They climb down and um, helped out of their suits, which the man uh, kind of holds his nose a little bit as they've been in now, like, well, they've been in those suits for 5 days and they've been unwashed for 10. So he does the best he can, and without making any untoward comments about their new odor that they discovered in orbit. And they are quickly guided to a car and taken to the car, closes the doors, and the driver rolls the windows down, and they are driven to Herr Professor Geiger's home. Um, they arrive, and he ushers them in real quick. Oh, did you get it? Did you get it? And he eagerly takes the equipment off their hands and gets it ready to, be analyzed. Um, and then he's like, "Oh, well, how did it go?" Let's see. One set. Okay, let's see. So if the character has successfully gathered two sets of specimens, one going up, one coming down, Geiger will be ecstatic, and he will treat them as guests in his home for 2 days, whining and dining them all the while. If the characters have collected only one set, Geiger will congratulate them thoroughly on a job well done and will offer to let them stay the night. If they did not succeed in obtaining even one set, he will go into an icy rage, have them take them to the hotel. Um, However, we'll give them the two sets. They didn't get the full two sets, but they got more than one, so they're able to get more than just the single pass. So we'll say that he's a little disappointed to hear about the trouble opening the door, and of course they make sure to let him know that that door was really hard to open up. Um, and that's why they were not able to get out. And by the way, uh, as Gordon points out, there was no safety connections there. There was no parachutes, no cables to hook onto. I did not say that there would be. And then they just look at the adventurers just look at each other, realizing that that's true. He never said that there was. They made that assumption. Maybe they won't make it again the next time. Okay. If the characters go through the whole trip again, each will be one easier to the experience. But I don't think that's. I don't think that's. I think that's probably just if they screwed everything up and had to go do it again, since he's still the paying customer. All right. Act 2. In which the player characters seek to find the means to coerce a giant. Here's a little vignette. Luck was with us so far. Andrea got us past the gate of the maintenance compound by convincing the guard that we were sales personnel come to demonstrate paint samples to their buyer. Martin quickly led us across the compound to the correct office building, as if he had been there before. We slipped through the corridors without alerting any of the security guards, and unbelievably, we found Armand Lefontaine's office empty, the door ajar. The light was also on, suggesting that he might be back any time. Okay. Well, let's see. This vignette kind of gives some spoilers, but why not? While Martin watched the corridor for Lefontaine's return, Andrea began searching the room, and I sat down at the computer terminal. A glow of satisfaction began to grow in me as I worked past Lefontaine's programmed safeguards and began to access his private files. Even this was going easier than could have been expected. It seemed that we were on a roll. For a couple of minutes, I was aware of nothing except my fingers on the keyboard and the flicker of light from the computer screen across my face. From over my shoulder, Andrea watched the parade of letters and figures on the screen. Suddenly, we both caught our breath. "Oh my," Andrea said, covering her mouth with one hand. Her eyes were wide with horror. Martin stared toward us to read the screen for himself. Martin started towards us. "It seems that Armand Lefontaine hasn't just been paying people off," I told him with an affected air of nonchalance. "He has been offing them." Martin muttered a curse. "Get it on hard copy. And let's get out of here," he said. I didn't need any prompting. The printer was already running. Just then, our luck ran out. Printer. Put on my computer. Just then, our luck ran out. The door swung open and Lefontaine stepped in. He took one look around the room, saw the three of us frozen around the computer, and pulled an immense pistol from under his coat. I hit the floor as the first shot was fired. Above me, the computer screen exploded, showering fragments of glass and plastic over the back of my jacket. The room suddenly went dark as Andrea or Martin hit the light switch. The printer chattered on. There was a sudden, dull thud, as if something solid striking flesh. And someone groaned. Without waiting to find out who had struck whom, I leaped up, tore the copy off the printer, and made a dash out the door. Martin and Andrea were right behind me. 2 shots from the office tore holes in the corridor wall as we left. We sprinted out of the building, praying for our lives. So much for our run of good luck. All right, so scene 1, we'll see what's going on. The adventure begins with the player characters summoned once again from their hotel rooms in Adrian to meet with Nigel Strawn. So once they, I guess after they've had their time working chilling out at Herr Geiger's house and drinking his cognac and smoking his cigars or whatever, they are taken back to Adrian, where the Rebcosar headquarters are for the planet. All right, this time the client they are introduced to is Alistair McBride, director of 4-Star, the food processing and distributing corporation created by the British continent's Farmers Co-op. All right. McBride's physical appearance. Let's see. We have a picture of McBride. Not that it's, I think, overly important to know what, he looks like necessarily, but where are the, no, that's the afterwards. The drama, the actors, okay. There's Armand. Okay. There's what he looks like. That is Alistair McBride. And they will know probably from the whole breakdown and everything that he's the director of 4-Star, which of course they are told. And he's been a farmer himself for many years, and after finding himself a leader in shaping the new opinions and actions of the farming community, he grew very active in the British Farmers Cooperative. Let's see. McBride is a short and stocky man, about 45 years old, with thick gray hair, a weathered complexion, and bushy eyebrows, broad shoulders, and massive arms, because he's a massive farmer. When he talks, he often gets caught up in what he is saying and begins to stump back and forth on his short legs, gesturing wildly with his arms. Let's see. Actually, that picture may be Rene Quist. He, yeah, that doesn't look like Alistair, so that wasn't his picture. That's for the next character, I think. The old French bureaucrat. All right. So I'm going to, instead of just reading the whole thing out here, I'm going to read it and basically talk like I would to my PCs. All right, so the long and short of it, as McBride, once he's introduced again to Nigel, or by Nigel Strawn, and they are given that information that he is he's a friendly person, and he works with the 4-star Farmers Co-op. And as he goes and tells his story, basically his complaint is that the French are dragging their feet and not allowing the approval of 4-star, the certification of 4-star, to sell their goods on the French continent. He said he's gone there and met with Renee Quist, who is actually a female, so also not whoever was in that picture with the cane. And he's very insistent that not only have they met the certification, and not only have they done everything and passed all the inspections and filled all the forms, that their product is good. And he says that it's the French elitism, and it's the French just don't want to let this group of poor British farmers sell their goods. And so as he's going on, he talks about the politics of it, that they don't want the rest of the arm to know that, there are other people who can compete with the French. The new Partagons, I think, is how I would say it in a silly French accent, which is the French farmers' food processing and distributing company. He's tried to push. He's talked to them, and he knows. I know for a fact that she is keeping us from accessing those markets for political reasons, but without hard evidence. He even reported it to the European Space Agency to make a complaint, and they took notes, and they let me talk and pretended like they cared what I said, but ultimately they told me that without hard evidence nothing can be done, and they have no authorization to go digging for that proof without more evidence or proof of wrongdoing. And that's when I basically had given up. And then someone told me about Rebco and its troubleshooters. And as I hear, your group, your lot, has done marvelous and brave things to help people out. And it's a crying shame. We thought we had a good thing going when the other farmers and me joined together and created 4-star. But we didn't reckon with the sneaky, underhanded, backstabbing officials we'd be forced to kowtow to, and now appears our dreams were for naught. Ye folk are our last hope. Have ye any ideas at all how to wrangle our certification out of the money-grubbing parasites? If not, I have only one suggestion myself, but I don't like to think about it. So is there? So at that, he basically wants them to somehow figure out how to get the 4 stars certification process going. He knows that there's corruption, there's some kind of political, uh, hijinks going on, and that's really what's causing this not to work. Um, let's see. None of these things are really, within our peoples. This is like a bureaucracy kind of thing, bureaucratic. See, Xiao Mei, she does have some information on info gathering and bureaucracy, so she might be able to do some help. And so they either need to do that or maybe get some proof that can be given to the ESA so that they'll go in and get involved. Let's see. We'll start with Xiao Mei. I'll give her info gathering. I'll give her info gathering and bureaucracy together. Not necessarily, she's not doing anything right now, but for her to come up with something. Maybe we can hack in, or if there's a, even just to see if it's remotely possible, or if they'd even have any idea. Okay, 2, 3, 4. No. None of them have any idea how, they try to brainstorm, but there's, they can't really think of how they would make some French political bureau do something that they don't want to do. For one, they already know that twice they've caused some issues for the French, and so they don't even have any contacts or anything that they think they could use. Well, as they sit and they talk for a while, they brainstorm and they can't really come up with anything. And McBride finally says, "Well, why not think the matter over a bit? And I'll talk to you again in the morning." And just so you know, the quotes in here, they have the accent. They've got the parentheses and everything in there to cut off and make the dialect sound, I guess somewhat Scottish-ish. Okay. Well, we're at 43 minutes, and I think we've had enough excitement, at least for the moment. So we'll call it there as the characters head out and maybe meet in their. Now they have some pretty good lodgings there in Adrian, as they are sort of the sought after troubleshooters now. So we'll stop there, and they will see if they can figure anything out, and we will see what they decide to do in this last act of the Beanstalk module. Hope you enjoyed it, and happy gaming.